Welcome back. Today we're looking at 3 more J277 programming questions on subroutines. We'll start with a common debugging question about variable scope. Here's the question. It's a 3-marker question. The program below should calculate and print a discount. It currently crashes with a scope error. Identify and fix the error so the program works correctly. We press play. It gives us an error. Name discount is not defined. It doesn't know what discount is. We're using a function here. How do we know it's a function? Because it's returning a value. If you look at this code, the function apply discount creates a local variable called discount. So this only works inside the function and then returns this discount. But in the main program here, we are trying to print that local variable that only works inside the function. Local variables are invisible to the main program. So this is the main program. It doesn't know what's inside the function. Okay? To fix this, we need to capture the returned discount. Okay, so we're gonna slightly modify this. Instead of it just running and calling this function and sending 50 up there. So 50 is the argument. We've got price, which is the parameter, one argument. We're going to store it inside a new variable called final underscore discount. So wherever is returned now gets captured and stored inside final discount. By typing final discount equals, we are catching the value that gets returned. Now we just need to update our print statement to use this new global variable. So this was a local variable, only can be used inside a function. This is a global variable which is outside the functions. So instead of string discount, we're going to do string final discount. We can see here that we've used str here is casting, it's converting our number final discount, and it allows us to concatenate the plus here, combine it with this string and this string. That's not part of this question, but it may be in the future. Remember, never print a local variable like discount, which is a local inside this function, outside the function. Now when we press play, we get a discount. The discount is £5 because now we've converted this discount that's been returned and stored it inside a final discount. We converted it to a string so we can concatenate, meaning combine it with this text and this text. That is a 3-marker question answered. Yeah, we've covered all the problems. We calculated it, we fixed the error, we identified and fixed that error as well. Works properly now. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. OCR really loves to combine subroutines with string manipulation. Let's look at a 4-marker question. I'm gonna paste in another question. So we've got a 4-marker here. Let's read this question. Let's write a function called generate ID. So how do we write a function? We know that is def that takes first name and last name as parameters. So 2 parameters there. Creates a username using the first letter of the first name, joining it to the whole last name. Then returns. So now we know it definitely is a function because it returns a username in fully uppercase letters. Okay. So first thing we need to do is create our generate ID function. So how do we do that? We need to write def to define our function. We need to use the exact spelling and words they've given. Underscore ID. And it says it has 2 parameters. It gives us the names of the parameters, first name, underscore name, comma, last name. We're using underscores here because space is a variable type, a name for a variable that is not allowed. So we always use underscores or camel caps, capital letters for each name. Last name. That's already 2 marks, I would say. You've got a function name, and we've got a first name, and we've got a last name. When I press enter now, when I run this, I can see that there's no there's an error message. Why is that? Because every function needs a colon. Yeah, and then now it's expecting us to have some content inside our function, which we haven't done yet. So username, let's do that. It says it creates a username using the first letter of the first name joined to the whole last name. So how do we get the first letter? So we use, similar to an array, we use square brackets. And from index 0, because that's what most arrays or even string like this start from index 0. And got last underscore name, that combines it together. Now this line gets us the second mark, which is gets the first letter using index 0, and then plus the plus symbol again concatenates together with the whole of the last name. Now the next bit we need to do is return it as an uppercase. Return username dot upper. This is now a function that returns the whole system. That's it. That will get you all 4 marks. We don't even need to write the rest. But for testing purposes, just to see if it is working, let's get it working. Generate ID. So this is we're calling the function, and we're going to send in the name Bob and Smith, and then we're going to print out the results. All right. Remember, we don't need to do this for the question doesn't ask us to actually use the thing. That could be a separate question later on, and or print it out. But we're doing this just for the sake of seeing if it works. So we can see Bob was sent up, capital B, and Smith was sent up, and then this combined the first letter of the first name B, combined it with the last name, and returned it all as uppercase, and that is 100% what we wanted. So that's another question done, a 4 marker. Okay, one more question. So we're going to do a 5 mark question now. So I'm going to clear this out and clear the output. Have a look at this question. 5 marks. Write a function called getAge that takes no parameters. So not all functions need parameters, but all the procedures need parameters. Using a while loop to ask the user for their age until they enter a valid age between 11 and 16, inclusive, returns the valid age as an integer. Perfect. So this is asking us to send age up, check if it's valid, and return it as an integer. All right, let's do the first bit, which we need to define the function name, which is get underscore age. Takes no parameters, so nothing in the parentheses. We're going to indent, and we need to set up a variable for a loop start. So let's create a local variable that's only used in the function. Let's call it age equals 0. Now we need to make a while loop. Why do we have to do a while loop? Because it should keep on running until an age is accepted. So uses a while loop to ask the user for the age until they enter a valid age between 11 and 16, and then return the valid age. Okay, so we need to keep on asking. So we can say while age is less than 11 or age is greater than 16. So why have we done less than 11? Because if you enter anything below 11, okay, and greater than 16, it's invalid. It says inclusive, meaning that 11 and 16 are valid numbers or ages. So the next bit, we need to indent for the function, and we need to indent into the while loop, otherwise it won't be correct. So we're going to ask for the age here. Age equals int input, please enter a age between 11 and 16. Close it, and remember, because there's two open brackets for the int and input, we need two close brackets there. So we need to now, it says return the valid age. So if they do enter age between 11 or inclusive 11 and 16, it should return that age back down. So this should be no longer part of the while loop. So we dedent it one step to the left, then we return the age. And then this covers all 5 of our marks. We don't need to do any more for the exam paper because it doesn't ask us to use this function that we've created, but just for the sake of testing purposes, let's do it. So I'm going to run get results, or let's say valid age equals get underscore age. No parameters, so no arguments is needed. Let's press that. It's going to ask us to enter the age. So what happens if we do something that's invalid? Let's do the age of 17, which should be outside the range. Submit. As you can see, 17 was rejected. Let's try a different number. Let's try 5. 5 should also be rejected. Let's try a valid number now. So in the boundaries of accepted, 11, and that is accepted, and it gets returned, and the output is valid 11. So when this loop will keep on asking you to be an age between 11 or greater than 16. So while it's not a suitable age, it will keep on repeating it. So it will check if it's below 11 or above 16, and it will keep on asking for the age. Once it is acceptable, so it's between 11 and 16 inclusive, then it will return the age. It will send it back to the bottom and print out the valid age. So that is the question done. And also I've done some additional, that's not part of the question, just to output, to show the output correctly. It's always good to test your code if you're actually doing the code. But in the exam, you don't need to do any of the bottom parts, because it only asks us to create the function, take it no parameter, uses a while loop, enter a valid age between 11 and 16, returns the valid age. So these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines of code are the only necessary lines you need to handwrite in there. And that's it for this video.